Welcome back to Check This Book Out, everybody.
Hi, welcome back. I'm Madeline Bookout, currently book hungover.
And I am Hannah Bookout, in love with reading.
Oh. Have you seen that? Are you the one that taught me that?
No, but you taught me.
Oh.
And I say that because this is a romance and fantasy book podcast.
Oh.
And today we're talking about Romantasy, the best of both worlds.
Yep. We are going to be giving Romantasy book recommendations for beginners. So whether you're new to the genre or, feeling inspired by book talk to get into reading.
Oh, yeah.
That's what we're here for today. Yep.
Once upon a time, I was getting into Romantasy.
AKA when you started reading?
No, what do you think is like the first romantasy book you ever read? I'm not talking like magic realism, like significance. I'm talking like fantasy world, but like it was a romance.
Probably Throne of Glass.
Yeah.
I mean, I read so much urban fantasy that had like romance component before that. That was like the true only fantasy. Like no modern day.
Yeah. Romantasy, I feel, didn't become a genre until like
the past
2020s. Like,
I think that it's the first time that it's had a name to it.
A name to it. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like, romantasy.
Yeah. Like it's been carved out into its own genre, which I think that a lot of people have strong opinions about. Like just the coined term romantasy. There are
some thoughts.
Okay. You want to share them?
Well, and I have to cite Miss Rebecca Yarros.
Yeah, I saw her post about that a couple months ago.
Yeah, that romantasy may have become a term because it kind of is, I don't know the best way to describe it, but it's like kind of like anti-feminist almost in a way. It kind of divides like female fantasy readers from like male fantasy readers because it makes this notion that like women really only read because they want romance. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's become this whole subgenre to appeal to women, but like there is fantasy and there is romance in fantasy. Like it doesn't have to be a subgenre,
You
like,
agree with that?
I do agree. I mean, like I like the term romantasy because I think it better labels some books because there's some books from like this is romantasy where it's like so the plot of it all is so romance but set in a fantasy world. So I think it's fitting. But sometimes I'm like, I wouldn't call Throne of Glass a romantasy. Like that's a fantasy book. Like,
no,
that's
I
fantasy.
agree.
Yeah, no, I know. But like you see like the difference kind of.
Yeah.
Where people are trying to paint it kind of in a.
Yeah. I think that.
Yeah.
I honestly disagree. I think that subgenre romantasy is a good thing because like I think that is something that a lot of people want and as like a lot of female readers want. And like there's a lot of male readers nowadays too that are getting into like these kinds of books.
Yeah.
But I think it's kind of fun that we've like carved out something for ourselves.
That's true.
And it's like I think it could be the opposite. And it's really, I guess, based on perspective. But we are claiming like these books as their own, like our own.
Yeah.
We like fantasy with romance. That's not a bad thing.
Yeah.
Just because you're somebody that likes romance in your books, or even if you're just a romance reader, like that's not a bad thing. Let's celebrate that. And if you also like fantasy, fine, fuck it. We'll give you both.
I like that viewpoint.
Yeah, actually, when Rebecca Yarros posted that, like I think she said something along those lines, what you said in an interview, and then she posted like her own interview quote.
Yeah.
I was like, I full-heartedly don't think so. Like, I don't agree.
I agree and I disagree.
Yeah.
I can understand where maybe the term came out as a kind of like, oh, this is a woman genre, so we're putting it for women out there. And that kind of can rub some people the wrong way, but also it's like, hell yeah.
Yeah.
That's for women,
Fuck yeah.
So it
embrace it.
It has a history and You know? Who
Yeah,
cares?
we get so pissed off about being left out so often. Like, fine, make it something for ourselves.
Yeah.
It's okay to call. Like, I think that's okay.
Yeah. And now we can make an episode such as this one
Yeah.
for if you only have read fantasy or if you've only read romance, dive into Romantasy with us.
Or you have friends that are reading and you feel
Left out altogether.
Yeah. Or you don't know where to start. That is what this episode is about.
Mm-hmm.
So, everybody, grab your
energy drink.
10 p.m. energy drink.
Yeah.
And let's check this book out.
Cheers.
Cheers. What flavor are you drinking today?
Sparkling orange. This is honestly the only flavor I like.
Of Celcius?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of most Celsius flavors, to be honest.
Really?
Yeah.
Alanis are too sweet for me.
That's unfortunate. I love that about them.
It is unfortunate.
Did you ever try the
Addison
Ray one?
They were
that
good.
one was so good.
I was thinking about that the other day,
and
actually.
I can never find it now. But I think they're so good.
One of my friends from college was an Alani, like
a partner or whatever,
ambassador, and she would just have stacks in our dorm room, like our sorority dorm room.
That's honestly awesome.
It was awesome. She'd give them out for free at like sorority events and stuff.
One of Madison's like childhood best friends' sister is either an ambassador or like actually works for lmnt, like the hydration packets. And so when Madison got married, like, and we all went to our, like, we were doing bridesmaid stuff, she gave everybody like a whole box of lmnt for free.
Oh,
because she could just pass them out. I'm like, can I have your number?
That's expensive.
They are expensive.
Aren't those like $25 at least?
I think recently Nolan and I bought a pack for 30 packets. Sorry,
30 packets.
30 packets for $30.
Oh, that's not bad.
Yeah, but then at the same time, it's like, dang, that's like paying $1 for water.
Yeah.
Anyways, I really love Elements though.
They're
Sponsor
good.
me.
Good.
I've only bought one box before, but I like them.
Mm-hmm. Well, let's get into this. Let's check these books out, as we would say.
Let me open my...
Do we have our matching Stanleys today?
We do. I realized I don't think I've had mine on an episode since like the first one.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't often drink from it because I'm actually a hydroflask girly, but...
I'm a Yeti girly. Today, Nolan and I were at Bass Pro, and I got a new Yeti cup.
A new one?
Like one of the drinking, like one of the tumblers, like the, for the house.
Yeah.
We've decided that every time they come out with a new color.
Oh no, that's a steep hill.
Yeah. And so what?
You're gonna go free falling?
Yeah. I told Nolan today in the car, I said, if I could buy every single Yeti product, I would. If I had the money to do that, I would get every cooler and every size and every color and their backpacks and their lunchboxes. I would get it all.
They're pretty cute, yeah.
They're cute and they're good. It's good quality.
It is good quality.
If you guys are looking for a lunchbox out there, Yeti lunchboxes are actually crazy. They're so good.
They're so expensive though.
Yeah.
It's like $40 for a lunchbox.
Try 80.
Oh
yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Maybe I've seen of the hydro flask one. There's like $40.
I could take one of my Cook Unity meals and put it in my lunchbox when I go to work, forget to put it in the fridge, and it would be totally fine.
Wow.
Like it's really impressive. Nolan has one too. I have like the day trip one and he has the actual lunchbox looking one.
Yeah.
But anyways, we've gotten way off track.
Yeah. Life updates for everybody out there.
Shall we start with the most obvious and the most popular and all of the things and get it out of the way?
The OG Romantasy.
The OG, I would agree. Let's talk about acotar, A Court of Thorns and Roses by Sarah J. Maas.
Yeah.
If you own social media, you have seen and heard of this book. There's no way, like, I don't care what parts of TikTok you're on, you have seen this.
Yeah.
Somewhere. To premise this is a fantasy, a fae fantasy. And the way it starts out is that you have like human girl and fairyland, and human girl ends up in fairyland. And wow, I'm really not doing a good job of explaining this.
No, you're right.
Okay. And ends up kind of in prison by one of the fairy kings. And there's this curse on the Fae land.
Mm-hmm.
And she becomes like instrumental in lifting this curse. And there is romance and fun along the way.
That was a perfect description.
Well, you think so?
No, yeah, that was really
Without
good.
spoiling too much?
Yeah. No, that was really well done.
Wow, I felt like I was babbling really bad.
No, that was good.
Okay.
Yeah. That was really good.
I don't want to spoil too much. Like, I want to talk about these books in depth and give enough context that people want to read them, but I don't want to like give away the whole plot.
Yeah.
So.
No, Fae is a very big theme in fantasy and romantasy at the moment. So if you are new to reading or you're new to fantasy, welcome to Fae.
It's very approachable.
Yes. Do not trust. These are not like little fairies, like little wings flying around and flittering and flattering around, okay?
Yeah.
Like these are like really cool, like, wow. I'm going to sound like a big fat nerd right now.
Okay.
I was going to say, these are like cool mythical creatures. Like,
that's right.
This is like magic. This is like cool magic.
It is cool magic.
They create a really cool magic system.
Yeah. I think that's probably a good part to explain is that there are different like regions within the Fae.
Mm-hmm.
Would you call it a country? Territory.
Territory, yeah.
The Fae territory that have like different magic types, which is cool.
Mm-hmm.
But this is a very palatable read.
Mm-hmm.
It is within good reason that it is recommended so much to people who are trying to get into romantasy or even like romance, well, or even fantasy reading, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's well deserved. I think it is a good recommendation for this category. Otherwise, we wouldn't be recommending it right now. But Hannah made it a good comparison earlier. It's kind of like Colleen Hoover, where it's the gateway. Like, let it introduce you to romantasy and then go find other things, because I do think it is like severely overhyped.
Yeah.
Like, it's really good, but there's so much other good stuff out there.
Yeah. Read it, say thank you, next.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But also, I love that we will recommend it to people because Sarah J. Maas as an author has a huge bibliography. And so you can, if you're kind of new to reading or kind of scared to dip your toes into more fantasy, just continue to read her other books.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And she as an author has grown so much since she wrote acotar.
Yeah.
So.
And she gives a good mix of like, we have, I would call acotar romantasy. Throne of Glass, I feel like, is true fantasy. There's like romance elements. And then she has Crescent City, which is a like contemporary fantasy.
Yeah.
A little bit kind of sci-fi-y, honestly. So she kind of does it all, and it's all very high quality.
Yeah.
But I think, do we want to kind of give like ratings for each of the books that we're recommending?
Sure.
Okay, I want to do it as a series. I guess that's another important thing to mention is that the acotar series, the first, like the original trilogy, it's 3 books.
Mm-hmm.
Then she has a novella, and then there's a 5th book called A Court of Silver Flames. That's like a sequel, sort of. And who knows when acotar 6 is going to be out. We haven't heard anything.
Yeah.
Honestly, I kind of think it'll be early next year, though.
Me too. She likes to release books in March.
Mm-hmm.
So next March is potential.
I forgot what we were going to do next.
Ratings.
Okay, if I'm going to do it based on the first 3 books, and I'm going to kind of average them in my head. You want to do the same? Okay.
Wait, we're like rating the whole series out of 5. Is that what you're saying?
Or should we rate the first book?
No, let's do the whole
Okay.
series.
3, 2, 1, 4. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that the first book starts out like pretty high. Second book, best book.
Mm-hmm.
Third book, in my opinion, it's my least favorite.
Same.
But the second half of the first book, 5 stars.
It's pretty good.
It's like really, really good.
Yeah.
So
you'll devour it.
You really will. The first book, I met somebody recently who, or not met somebody, but I can't remember who it was. Somebody I know who's read the first book and then stopped. Oh, it was Celeste. Celeste, read the second book. If you're watching this, read it. It's so good. And she was like, I predicted how it's going to end, or like, I know what's going to happen next. I was like, and so what?
Enjoy it.
Enjoy it. Like the journey it's about the journey, not the destination.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's crazy.
I know. I was like, the first book ends on such a high note, I feel.
Yeah.
It would be so easy to just immediately dive in.
Yeah. Oh, that just makes me think about how the second book starts and like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, Sarah J. Maas wrote that so well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Anyway, guys, we're recommending it because it deserves to be recommended for new Romantasy readers.
Yeah.
So do not let social media scare you. Do not go looking at fan art. Just dive into it.
Yeah, definitely don't do that.
Try it out for yourself, okay?
I do fear that this book might be like easily spoiled because of how popular it is.
Oh, it is. Yeah.
So sorry, but it's still worth it.
Yeah.
Very worth it. Still.
Very worth it. All right. What's next on our list?
Let's talk about Zodiac Academy.
Okay. Would you like to give
my second
little summary?
high level? Okay. Twin sisters. Twin sisters, Darcy and Tori, humans that find out that not only do they have magic, but they're also royalty, and enter a really ruthless magic academy. This is also a fae book, but what's really nice about it is that there's like a million different types of fae.
Mm-hmm.
And it also has like elemental magic. So like think fire, water, earth, and air. So yeah, envision a little bit like Avatar: The Last Airbender plus fae plus bullies and
zodiac signs.
Oh yeah, that's like a whole other thing.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot going on.
This is a cool magic system.
Agreed.
I feel like I should explain what magic system means.
Okay, go for
it. If you're like new to fantasy in general, magic system is kind of like how the magic is set up within a series or a book. So that could be like elemental. That could be like the species that they are. So like things like vampire, werewolves. Like that could be part of a magic system. Or if it's like Harry Potter, like they have like wands and spells. Like that's a magic system. Or what's another example? Let's just think of something. Like witches, that's kind of a magic system.
Anything that involves like power, a power dynamic, I think is a good way to describe it. It's usually very ingrained with the world building.
Exactly. That's what I was just about to say too, is that the society is often built off of this magic.
And you just find it's very common in like fantasy. So, because I could say that fantasy could have no magic theoretically, but
rarely not.
Yeah. So, yeah, this has a very wide variety in its magic system. I would say the world building is not super complex.
Mm-hmm.
It's a little bit of it kind of an urban fantasy, or I would say contemporary fantasy. It has elements of modern day, but it's not like on Earth, if that makes sense. So I would recommend this series. Okay, pause. It's 9 books long. So it is a commitment.
Forewarning.
And the last 5 books are really, really long. Like, I think in the end, they start to get to the 1,000 pages mark, which is one of my like complaints about this series. But I wouldn't recommend this to like people who are new to reading. I would recommend it to people who have maybe already been reading Romantasy or are already reading either romance or fantasy.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you're looking for the crossover.
Yeah. I would agree. Uh-huh. I will also add that the authors of this series are currently rewriting it. So the writing quality is about to be even better. So one of like the main complaints people have about the series is about to be a non-issue.
Solved.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say that the first 2 books, it's a little rough. And Hannah also wanted to give a disclaimer about another part of the series that some people might not like.
Oh, if you were an OG romance reader coming to this for fantasy, or well, even if you're, no, I think I'm going to preface this for the fantasy readers that are coming in for the romance. This book is advertised quite blatantly as a bully romance. So if you were not into that, just be forewarned for like the first 3 to 4 books that is prevalent there. I'm not a fan of bully romance, but I could read it. But that does mean the first book honestly was hard to read.
Yeah, the first book is tough.
Yeah. Once you get past the first, you're kind of used to it. And obviously the dynamic and character relationships are changing and whatnot. But that is a trope. And I feel like not everybody would like that. But this is a very popular series and a lot of people grew to like it.
Yeah. You learn to get over it very quickly.
Yeah.
To be honest. I had never even heard of a bully romance until I read this series. And I saw that in either the book blurb or one of the reviews on Goodreads before I started it. And I was like, the hell is that?
Yeah.
And then you read it and you're like, that's what that means.
Mm-hmm.
And it is quite shocking.
Yeah.
To be blunt.
Yeah.
But super worth it. By the time you get to the 3rd book, it's like unputdownable.
Yeah.
You can't stop.
Well, unless you're me.
Unless you're Hannah.
About to read book 9 and you get so
fed up.
No, but it's a good series for active readers that are looking for something a little different.
I will also say a main component of having this on the list is for the spice component. If you're looking for something pretty spicy, like 10 jalapenos.
Yeah.
Not early on in the series, but later on in the series, we're getting some peppers.
Yeah.
So.
Yep.
So if that's what you're into, give this one a try.
Give it a try. Yep.
Oh, did we want to give ratings for the series as a whole?
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay, ready? 3, 2, 1. 3.75.
Okay. I knew that you weren't going to be a 4 because you hadn't finished it. So,
well, not only that, but like maybe my last caveat for reading this book is like I hope you're mentally stable.
Yeah.
There's just this is a good recommendation. I'm sorry. I'm just like thinking about it deeper. It's like you are just getting so much. A super complex magic system that has a lot of cool layers to get into. Really, like a lot of different characters. Mm-hmm. So it's a multi-POV. So you're getting a lot of character development.
That is such a good point.
Yeah. Like the emotions, the plot bombs, like the plot.
I could not have predicted anything that happens in that series.
No, yeah. Literally, we're on the 9th book and I'm like, how the fuck is shit still happening?
No, literally.
Like, there is still so much that needs to be solved. But no, really, this is actually a pretty good recommendation because you just get so much in a very consumable, addictive way.
When I recommend this series to people, one of the reasons why I'm like, you have to get over the first like book and a half is because the character development is insane.
Yeah.
Like from book 1 to book 9, the characters that you absolutely just loathe became my absolute favorite character by the end.
Yeah.
And just watching, because as Hannah said, it's multi-POV. So seeing the inside of everybody's brains and like their relationship dynamics and being privy to all their thoughts is just such a blessing.
It's a joy.
It is a joy. So yeah, I honestly highly recommend this one.
Yeah. Another series where don't go looking at fan art.
Yeah.
Careful.
Yeah, another
Tread carefully.
spoilery.
Yeah. There's so much on social media. It's very popular. So just be careful what you're watching.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Another thing I'll say is that I feel like this book is getting a lot of hype recently. Like I would say in the past year. Before a year and a half ago, I would recommend this to people and they would have no idea what I was talking about.
Yeah.
Like was not a very popular series, but it has become like more so and it's kind of snowballing. So, but I think it's like well-deserved hype.
Mm-hmm. Once the new series is like fully published, I'm gonna buy them. Like hardcover.
Oh, the new the republished.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I know. The other day we were at Barnes and Noble and Hannah I was like, oh, should I get the first one of the republished? And she was like, no, just wait until they're all out.
Yeah.
But I've officially run out of bookshelf space.
Me too.
Like real bad.
Real bad.
Okay.
What's
Do we want to
next?
move on from Zodiac Academy?
Yeah.
This next one, Hannah and I have talked about on the podcast a lot, frankly. So we're not going to go too deeply into it. But this one is called, the first book is called The Heartless Hunter. It's the first book in the Crimson Moth duology by Kristen Ciccarelli. I feel like this is a really good recommendation from somebody, or for somebody who is like a diehard romance person that wants to get into fantasy elements.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
it is the core of Romantasy, where it's set in a fantasy world, but the whole plot is, well, not the whole plot. Wait, no, it's actually this is a good balance of like,
I would say it's half and half.
I'd say it's half and half too. No, I'm thinking about it.
Mm-hmm.
But the romance is a really strong element of it.
Yeah.
And it's active throughout the entire duology, I'd say.
Yeah, it's very understandable. It's really another approachable read, I would say. The main characters, like you just get to know them fast. You get to know the world fast. It's not super complex. It's just an easy and fun read. And the fast paced.
Yeah, and the I wouldn't say the creature, like the magic being witches. They're witches, right? That's like understand, like people can easily understand that. That's not something more confusing, like mythical creatures. You know what I mean? Yeah. People know witches.
Yeah. And I guess we did a little bit of a blurb for the other ones. Witches are being like purged in society, ostracized by like the government. And so witches are in hiding. Girl who is a witch who is trying to save other witches from being killed and being hunted. And so this one's hard without spoiling. I guess that's basic premise.
It's kind of like a cool cat and mouse game.
Yeah.
With a lot of secrecy.
Yeah. A lot of clever ploys and tricking him. So That one was really bad. That was really bad. But
Don't worry about it. You're fine.
We've talked about this one plenty. Hannah read like both of them this year. So we talked about this one in depth on our duologies episode because it's 2 books. If you end up reading it and want to hear about our thoughts more, we both really liked it. What would you rate the duology as a whole?
A 4.
4? Me too.
Sorry, I didn't do a little
No,
countdown.
it's okay. It's fine.
The longer it's been since I've read them, the more I appreciate them for some reason.
I was thinking of 4.5, but I couldn't remember what I gave the first book.
This is a pretty strong duology. The writing is beautiful. The characters are great. The pacing is pretty nice. And the end is pretty creative.
Yeah.
All around, like, I feel really good recommending this book to, like, new romantasy readers.
Agreed.
Especially if you are, like, fully romance right now. It's only a duology, so you're not, like, committing to a whole series. So
it's not some huge commitment.
Yeah. That's, like, a big, I think, star factor here if you're wanting to get into fantasy.
Yeah, and they're not super long either. I feel like
Yeah.
fantasy and romantasy books can be anywhere from, like, 400 to 600 pages, which...
Yeah.
I saw somebody recently who had a hot take on TikTok. He was like, you could probably get rid of 100 pages of your book. Like, editors need to crack down on that.
Yeah.
I agree. I think that there are a lot of cases where books are just needlessly long. But this is one of those books where they're not ridiculously long. So you could be in and out really quick and enjoy the hell out of it. So.
Yeah. So give it a shot.
But yeah, we've talked about that one a lot, so don't want to spend too much time on it. Let's talk about 7-Year Slip.
Oh, yes. So you are a romance reader and you have absolutely no interest in reading fantasy at all, but perhaps you're slightly curious and you just want to barely dip your toe in. This is where you want to barely dip your toe in. This is where we would, like, consciously feel okay sending you.
Yeah.
Because you're not going to be confused. You're not going to be committing yourself to a 8-book series. You are just getting the taste of what it's like to have magic in your world.
Yeah. 7-Year Slip by Ashley Poston is want to be super clear, it is not technically a romantasy.
Yeah, no.
Like, don't come after us. We know. It's a contemporary romance with magical realism. So that's why we're being very distinct between this is like set on Earth, like it is a romance and all those
modern
day, but it has that like unexplained magical component, like that you're never going to know the reason why. But if you are interested in maybe getting into romantasy and you want to see what it's like to have that magic element involved, this is a good place to start. I think Ashley Poston does magical realism super well. Hannah is not like typically a fan of it, but you liked the 7-Year Slip.
I did like 7-Year Slip. I thought it was decent. Yeah.
So, brief synopsis. Girl lives in an apartment. And that's it. Girl lives in an apartment. Apartment room somehow like time travels ish to a time where like somebody else lived there. Is that how it is?
7 years.
Yeah, 7 years. So she's like meeting somebody that currently lives in the like apartment, or like that lived in the apartment before her. Or maybe it was vice versa, but essentially, like when she enters the apartment, sometimes she time travels and like interacts with this person, and there's a relationship component, but it doesn't feel real. And then, you know, you also see her personal life develop outside of it. Like she's struggling with grief and loss. And you get to see how like the 7-year slip meets the present. And that's where like the magic component comes in, the magical realism. It's unexplained. You're not going to get a reason why that exists, but it's really fun.
Mm-hmm.
When I first read my first book by Ashley Poston, it was The Dead Romantics, which is like one of my favorite books, I would say. Or at least like one of my favorite romance books. I found that I really liked magical realism. I haven't read anything like it before.
She does magic realism in a way that I can handle and like tolerate. Because typically when it comes to magic realism, it's like, yeah, our town is just real special. You know, like when you come to this town, like something good's gonna happen to you. It's always like some southern like podunk town. You know what I mean? But this is, I will agree. Ashley Poston does it really well, where it doesn't feel like forced or like cheesy. Like she just makes something very interesting, and it's
and it's a isolated incident. It's not something that everybody else is experiencing. It's really unique to the main character, and like nobody else knows about it.
Yeah.
So
something that's fun for fantasy readers is that like escapism into like a world that is not your own. Like you get to kind of like live a different life, which is the same for romance. Like you kind of put yourself into somebody else's shoes, to, like live somebody else's romance life. But this magic realism is fun because like you can still pretend it's like happening to you, but it's like like you get to experience this little magic. Like what if, you know, like what if this happened to me?
Yeah.
So it's a little escapism, which is fun.
Yeah, it's like a little bit of a paranormal, like I feel like it's something
I'd say more supernatural than paranormal.
That's much better.
Yeah.
Yeah. Something supernatural, like a wild occurrence that it would honestly make a very good like TV show.
Yeah.
You know? People out there, TV people, what I would do is I would make it like Black Mirror, where every season is different, you know, but have like each season be one of Ashley Poston's books.
Huh.
I'm a creative genius.
Yeah.
So I haven't read Sounds Like Love. That's the one she came out with last year.
No, that's coming out this year.
Oh, yes. That comes out in June. What's her book that came out last year? A novel love story.
Oh.
I didn't read that one.
I didn't either.
But I don't think it got like super high ratings.
Well, for our cautious readers out there that want to just dip their toe into something, give that one a try.
Rating?
Okay. 3,
2, 1, 3.5.
I was gonna say 3.5.
Oh.
Or 3. Honestly, 3. Sorry.
For you, I think it was probably a 3.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's still in the yes category for me.
Me too.
If you're wanting to give something like this a try, I think it's a strong yes for me. Okay. Onwards and upwards. This is our last recommendation. We were actually kind of quick today. I'm proud of us.
Me too.
Okay. This last one is called Fever by Kate Moning.
Karen Moning.
Oh, Karen. My bad.
Karen Moning?
Moning? Moning. Moning.
Karen Marie Moning?
Wow.
I know her Bert. No, I'm kidding.
This is an urban fantasy circa 2009.
Yeah, something like that.
So it's an older series. What, 5 books or 4?
I want to say 5 or 6.
Yeah.
Potentially 5. 5.
Yeah, I think there's 5, and then there's like a couple of sequel series.
Yeah, there's a sequel series, which I did not bother to read.
Yeah. Hannah recommended this to me a couple years ago, and her Goodreads reviews were like really putting it in high esteem. Do you want to give the synopsis?
Yeah. Girl does not live in an apartment. Girl lives with her family in America.
Georgia, maybe?
Yeah, Georgia, I think. And her beloved sister traveled abroad to Ireland, and said sister abroad goes missing. So American sister has to travel to this foreign country she's never been to and discover where her sister is, what happened, why the police aren't, being thorough.
Yeah, she fancies herself as an investigator.
Yeah. And she kind of gives up everything in her life to go move to Ireland to figure out this mystery. And she ends up finding out that there's something fantastical happening in Ireland.
Very quickly.
And for some reason, she can see it and she's aware of it. And she's very confused because there's no such thing in Georgia where this is happening. Or is there?
Who knows? It's a little bit of a whodunit.
Yeah.
A little bit of a like mystery component.
Yeah. Investigative.
Yeah.
And
certainly a romance component.
Yep. Certainly. It's kind of hard to describe it because it's
a little unique.
It is pretty unique. I'm not gonna say this is like, it's the whole like she finds out she has magic, because it's not like that.
Mm-mm.
It's not like it's just like she is unwillingly exposed to a magic world and she has no idea how to handle it, but she quickly becomes a badass.
Mm-hmm.
And she ends up meeting badass people.
Yeah.
And she becomes instrumental to discovering what happened to her sister. I feel like I kind of rambled a little bit there too.
No,
but
I thought it was good though.
I really do not want to spoil it. Like, I do not want to get close to spoiling the series because it kind of goes in a direction you don't expect it to.
Mm-hmm.
But I think obviously we're talking about romantasy here, so obviously there's romance and there's fantasy.
Yeah.
But it's in Ireland.
That was honestly one of my favorite parts about it.
Me too.
I liked those a lot. I went into it thinking, might not like it that much because this is 2009 and they have flip phones. They have flip phones
and capri pants.
Yeah, and I was
Juicy
like,
couture.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was big fashionista, huh?
Yeah, she was.
Yeah. So I was like, it's not timeless, but it kind of was.
It turned. You got used to it.
You get used to it. It was fun.
Yeah.
Reading about something old.
Yeah.
But very enjoyable. Not another thing that wasn't like, hadn't read anything like that, at least not in a while when I did read it. Because at that point I was either very strictly like, I wasn't reading a lot of urban fantasy those days when you recommended it to me. So
yeah. This is controversial, but by the 5th book, every book got better. So when you kind of start off, you're like, oh God, this is so 2008 capri pants. I'm scared. And the main character is concerning me. She's wearing too much pink. Well, don't worry, because every book just gets better. And the main character gets, more tolerable too.
Yeah, she grows.
Like, she's not a blonde bimbo, okay? She's not. She's smart. She does what she needs to do. And I feel like that's where people maybe get stuck. But every book, there's something else being uncovered, and she's discovering it, and she's an active part of this investigation and, like, uncovering the mysteries of this freaky magic world and, like, these creatures. And every book just gets better. And in the end of the book, in the last book, you were like, what the fuck? I did not expect that to happen.
Yeah.
Whatsoever. That is not what I was expecting to be, the catalyst of all of this. The main characters just have major bombs to drop. She's going to places that you have not seen her before. The world is ending. And she's going to save it.
Yeah.
Like, it's crazy. The escalation is just...
Yeah,
it's not linear.
It continues like this the whole entire series.
Yeah. But yeah, I will say my last review of the 5th book, I believe I think there was 5 books. I was like, this series filled the void that Sarah J. Maas left in me. Like, that is how good this series ended.
Yeah.
So if you are new to reading and you probably will be able to handle the 2008 writing in the beginning, go ahead and give it a shot. Because I feel like you could easily consume this book. It's pretty easily consumable.
Yeah. You can quickly get over it. Like, just don't have an open mind.
Yeah.
Another thing I'll say is that this kind of is a slow burn.
Yeah.
Like, don't expect immediate, and that's partially because it is a 4 or 5 book series. Like, what are you going to do? Have the couple get together in the first book and then have like a shit ton of conflict for the next 4 books? Rebecca Yarros. So prepare yourself for that, but be excited for it, because honestly, that can be so rewarding.
Yeah. It's an authentic slow burn. None of that like first lover failed, so here's a second lover. You know what I mean? Do you know how many books abuse that now?
Yeah.
Where it's like, it's a slow burn. I'm like, no, it's just this isn't the first man she's been with in this series. You know what I mean?
Which I actually don't hate it when that happens.
I don't either. But this is like a slow, juicy burn.
I'm like, no.
Yeah. So
I don't know if I have like a spice level for this one. I don't know if I remember.
I don't know. 2. Spice level 2.
Only 2 peppers?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, you're here for the action, okay?
It is an action-packed series.
Yeah, you're here for the action.
You're here for
and you're here for the
thriller.
mystery.
Yeah.
The thrill.
The thrill. The mystery.
Yeah. And you're here for Ireland. Okay.
There are some you're here for the Irish, if we're being honest. There is one thing that I sometimes don't like in books or series is where they start off with like this massive mystery component, and there's like solving a murder or like, you know, investigating involved, and then the rest of the series is not like that at all. I feel like this series does a good job at like staying true to the original point,
uncovering the mystery.
That is the series, and it's a consistent theme, and I like that a lot. I don't think you see that often. A lot of the times it's like, I'm going to try to uncover this thing, resolved first book, and then there's like totally different plot line for the rest.
That is so true. I read a book like that recently. What was it? Oh, okay. Well, I'm blanking, but it doesn't matter.
Okay.
But that's all we got.
That's it. Yeah, that was pretty quick.
This is a varied list of books here that hopefully, if you're new to Romantasy, you were inspired by at least one thing we said.
Yeah.
So there's something here for everybody, you know, whether you're a romance reader or whether you're a fantasy reader or not a reader at all.
Yeah, we tried to give something for everybody.
Yeah.
Because we know that everybody is on different paths in their reading and world. So, if I had to give like a hard yes, everybody should read this. Well, actually, that's really hard.
Like a fantasy book or like a romance?
Out of the ones that we recommended today, like if I had to give like my top recommendation out of all of those, I'd say Zodiac Academy.
I would say Heartless Hunter.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so hard.
I know. There's a lot of,
But like, I feel like everyone would enjoy it. Like, I feel like everyone would enjoy Heartless Hunter.
Agreed.
But these
Zodiac
other
Academy is like,
some people love it. Some people hate to love it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. Zodiac Academy is definitely kind of an acquired taste, but you acquire it quickly. So
yeah, I'd say the same for Fever. Yeah.
But yeah, read them all. Try them all. Pokemon style.
Gotta try them all.
Gotta try them. You remember Pokemon Go?
Oh my gosh, yeah.
That was so crazy. That was a crazy time.
I did that for like 5 days, and then I got sick of it.
Remember Nolan, Riley, and I like driving around the neighborhoods at literally midnight. This was before I went to college. Isn't that crazy?
That is crazy.
It came out while I was at cheer camp, and we were doing cheer camp at the Gaylord that year, and so everybody was like walking around the Gaylord trying to catch Pokemon. So
that's so funny.
Yeah, and it was kind of a cool place to do it too, because that place is massive.
It is, yeah.
Anyway,
Happy reading, everybody.
Happy reading.
It is almost summer, and I hope that you are
Gearing up.
getting out of your book slumps. You're picking up something new.
That's right.
You're about to travel to Mexico, and I hope your life is happy and filled with books.
Hope your seasonal depression is fully lifted at this point.
Yes.
I do think that this is a good year to try something new.
I'm into it.
I'm into it.
I'm committed to trying the new genres. Wasn't that one of our goals?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think one of mine, well, I have tried a new genre this year because of Red Rising.
Sci-fi.
Which, if you love that series, our last episode was a deep dive on book 1.
Yeah.
Total chaos in that episode, but
I could not recommend that to a beginner reader at all.
Not at all.
No, steer away if you're not new.
Yeah, absolutely agreed.
Or if you are new, I mean.
I want to look up today's book releases if there are any. Oh, shout out to all the moms out there.
Yeah. Happy Mother's Day.
It is currently Mother's Day.
Yeah.
This releases on Tuesday, but happy Mother's Day.
Yeah.
Thanks for giving life to the people of this world.
Yeah. Thanks for teaching your kids how to read.
No, literally.
And reading the bedtime stories and getting them the magic rainbow fairy books.
Yeah. Thank you for reading Bluefish.
Yeah.
Continue to do those things. We need literate children in the world. It's true.
Yeah.
Did I tell you about Brenna was telling me some crazy statistic about the percentage of adults that are literate is 30%, in the sense that can read above a high, a reading level of a 5th grader.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's actually incredible.
Incredibly depressing.
Yes. Don't quote me on it, but something along the statistic that she told me was actually shocking. I was like, you're kidding me. But it's people in our age range and older, most of them can't even finish a book. So,
wow.
It's nuts.
Well, then thank you to all the mothers that continue to expose children to reading and how fun and beautiful of a hobby it is.
Agreed. Yeah, we love you, Mom.
We love you, Mom.
Yeah. Also, shout out to Nanners, our mom.
Shout out to our mom.
Shout out to you, Nanners. We love you. You're a great mother.
Yeah.
Reading isn't something that we have in common, but I still appreciate you.
Mom read as a kid.
Mom read as a kid.
No, Mom used to read. She did enjoy reading.
She enjoys reading.
But as a mother, she doesn't have much time.
Yeah. And she still appreciates a good book club. She's very supportive of her book club, even if she doesn't read the books all the time. So
if Mom were to sit here right now and give a book recommendation to everybody, I think she would say Piranesi. So
what is that?
I don't know, but she talks about it all the time.
Okay. Maybe we'll have to read it.
Logan's reading it right now.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Huh.
So if you're a mom listening, maybe that is a book you would enjoy. I don't know. But that's really all we got today.
That's all we got. Releases this Tuesday. Releases today are A Curse Carved in Bone by Danielle Jensen, who is the author of Bridge Kingdom, which Hannah and I have talked about before. To be honest, I don't know if that's an extension of that series. I'm going to look it up because it'll bother me if I don't. Oh, it's the second book in her A Fate Inked in Blood.
Oh.
This is the second book in that series. Haven't read that, but appreciate her as an author.
Mm-hmm.
So
it's on my want to read.
That's honestly, that's probably a good romantasy. I've just not read it.
Yeah.
So that comes out today. And then another book that comes out today is The Devils by Joe Abercrombie.
I love Abercrombie.
Yeah, Abercrombie really stepped up in the world.
Mm-hmm.
The Devils. This is a fully fantasy book, I think.
That's a cool title.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you and I think that titles need to change a lot.
Yeah.
It's the first book in a new series. But it is I'm pretty sure it's a full fantasy book. I've just heard of this author a lot and thought that I would recommend it. Or not recommend it, but
Put it out there.
Put it out there in case you really like this author or are looking for a fantasy book.
Sweet. Happy release day to you authors.
Happy release day.
So proud of y'all.
Upcoming next Tuesday is A Great Big Beautiful Life by Emily Henry. Bookish deep dive. Yeah, my queen, my savior.
Yeah. Hopefully we won't have great big fat tears.
Yeah. Fully admitting I haven't started it.
Me neither.
But I'm pretty sure I will devour it once I do start it.
From what I've heard through the grapevine, I'm very interested to read this book. I'm kind of confused as to where it is going.
What I've
based
heard,
on what you told me.
Yeah, what I've heard makes me wonder if it's like the most original plot line out there. But and then also Emily Henry has kind of scared me in some of her like interviews and stuff that she's done. I feel like it's going to be sad.
Yeah.
And I've had enough sad recently in books. So recently. But anyways, if you are, that book came out in late April. So, you know, if you're interested in checking it out before we have our episode next week, stay tuned. You can read along with us in the next 7 days. For Hannah and I, the next like 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Me too.
I'm excited to talk about it.
So we will see y'all next week. Thanks for tuning in for another episode. Check this book out. I'm Hannah Bookout.
I'm Madeline Bookout.
And we are 2 book-obsessed sisters who just love to talk about books like we do all the time.
Every day.
And you guys can follow us on Instagram or on TikTok or on Goodreads. We've been pretty active on there, as always.
Yeah.
I've actually been very active on it lately.
Yeah.
I've kind of picked up the
she's picked up the pace.
Yeah. I'm posting, okay?
She's very active.
So come follow along. Read my inner thoughts.
We are almost at 1,000 followers on TikTok. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, we're like 70 followers away. Since we started posting about Red Rising, like the clips from it, we've gotten like 70 followers just from those clips.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So help us reach 1,000 followers. That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah.
I thought that would be cool if we could try to get that by end of May.
That'd be so fun.
Wouldn't that be sick?
Guys, thanks for engaging with our social media.
Y'all are so fun.
So much fun. Like it is my favorite part about, you know, hosting this podcast is like actually seeing comments from people on social media and reading them.
While we're doing kind of a shout out to our followers, shout out to the girl who posted or commented on one of our YouTube videos like several videos ago. She posted the sweetest comment.
The girl from Spain?
Yeah. Maybe we may have already talked about her. We haven't. Shout out to you. That was one of the sweetest things in the world. Sab's fantasy book nook or something like that. I should probably pull it up. What do you think?
I'll tag her in
there. That was very precious and we appreciate that.
Yeah.
Very high compliment and that makes our day.
Yeah.
So, especially being so small and little.
Yeah. Small business owners.
Yeah, we're just teeny.
But we don't really own anything.
Yeah.
Except Yap City. But from the bottom of our hearts, thank you guys for tuning in for another episode. And we will see y'all next Tuesday.
Love you. Bye.
Bye.